Hi, Kol members. We're going to continue on with the second Maisa. We're talking about the Kesar and the daughter of the Kesar, that is, and the son of the king. As we said, that this story, the Rabbeinu HaKodesh, is really picturing for us the whole display and the whole functioning of the reality in which we live. It's a little difficult to see when he talks about Zer Anpen and he talks about Eric Anpen, different kinds of Malchus and different kinds of things. What's that got to do with me? So the idea is that we have to understand it has everything to do with you. Because we live in the world of action. These other worlds are worlds of pure goodness, just pure light. If you get to the highest places of these things, these places are just pure sweetness and music to your ears, perfume to your nose, everything that you could possibly want to be united with the Eibishter. But we have to do something about it because we're in this world, we're in the world of action. These higher worlds are really connected to us completely. There is, as the Shema says, Shem Elokeinu Shem Echad. There's only oneness in the reality, even though that we live in a world that's not like that. So as he's describing the son and the daughter that we see here, he's also describing the forces that are inside of us. So he begins, again on page Men Gimel in our book, he had a tremendous yearning for her. He longed for her. Now, when he says Zer Anpin, in my language I would say Zun, which is Zochav Anuk, because Zer Anpin is not just a male aspect, he's a male aspect and a female aspect. Now, how is that possible? Well, it is like that, and everything is male and female. So, although Rav Chick is using a short form and he's saying Zer Anpin, what he means to say is that the lower parts of wants to be closer to the Almighty, and as a result of that, he longs that he and she, to them together. And I'll give you a little bit more, if you want to really bend your mind around this a little bit more about that. We have a concept here of the male and female together. The male part of the male-female, which he calls Zer Anpin, actually has a male and female part by himself. So that is in the terms of the Kabbalah, it's called the Ma Uben de Ma. So Ma, we'll see that later, as those of us who are going through the Sod class will be able to see a little bit closer, but that's going to be down the line a bit to be able to see that. But it's called the male and female of the male. And in the female side, there's a male and the female of the female. So all of this goes on and on and on because it's always like that. So when he says there Anpen, it's really referring to the male and female aspect of the male. That's what he's really referring to. So he says that he has a tremendous desire to raise him, that he, that is Zun, have a tremendous desire to raise themselves up to a higher madrega, to become closer to the Almighty. Because they want to be able to reach from the world where here we are, here in the world of Asiya. We have three worlds to get to. We have two worlds in between us and Atzilus. Question is how do we get there? Zagam Habas Keser Choisa Atseva Talmid Zashi, the Bas Keser, because she didn't have her male counterpart. She didn't have the lower world coming up to her and mating with her. So she's very, very sad. Because there's nothing there to complete her and make her whole. Because as we say before, it says really male and female makes one whole. So now let's look at this. He says the Kesar, going back, it represents the 370 lights that come off of the face of Eric Anpin. So he said that the Kesar, so he showed her all of the wonders that are existing in the Olam Atzilus, that all she has. So let's see what Rav Shuk says on this. Or Ein Sof, Mislavish B'toch HaSfiros, the light of the Ein Sof itself. This magnificent, unbelievable everlastingness, which is manifest inside of the spheres themselves, the Hoyer Lamata. Why? In order to be able to minimize the light so they can continue to shine downwards, Ad Sheyagil the Malchus, until it reaches in the Olam of Atzilus, until that Malchus. And then it would be able to manifest itself and to shine into all the other worlds. So then as we be able to appreciate this tremendous light that's coming from the face of Eric Anpin through this Malchus and filtered down to us, that we could see who is actually ruling the world. We will be able that the day that is us will be able to receive the yoke of his Malchus, of his kingdom. So it goes back, it says that she was very, very, very sad. She's depressed, as a kalim, because she didn't have vessels that she could use to be able to hold the light from up above Shehem Vav Kitzvahs. What are the kalim? The kalim are the Vav Kitzvahs. What are the Vav Kitzvahs? The Vav Kitzvahs are the Zer Anpin of Atzilus. So it would remind us that in every world are all the other worlds. So if you have an Eric Anpin in the Olam of Atzilus, you also have an Eric Anpin in the Olam of Bria, an Eric Anpin in the Olam of Yetzira, and C as well. All of them represents the most panimis part, the most inside, the most internal part, most connected to the light of the Ein Sof. So here he says that she's missing her lower part. She doesn't have what she needs in order to become completely fulfilled. Vaven Melech Shlucha Zer Anpin. So he was yearned for her and longed for her so much that he wanted to be near her, that he eventually got sick, started to get sick. But so this is a secret of Ki Cholas Ava Ani, because it's a pasuk he brings from Shir Shirim that have the sickness of love. So what does he mean by the sickness of love? Who do we love for? What is this love for? Love that Shlomo HaMelech is describing is as our love for the Malchus of Atzilus. Even though that I'm sick, he writes, this is a Medrash Rabbah, Ahuva ani lo, but I'm still loved to him. I still love for him. Ahuva ani lo, I am a love for him. So they asked him, they said, why are you so sick? Why are you so much upsetting you? But he wouldn't want to tell them what was bothering him and what was making him sick. Because if you have a tremendous longing to come to a higher level, you can't really explain that, even if it's making you sick, because you can't get out of it. You can't raise yourself above, and somebody asks you what's going on, you can't explain it. So he said to his servant, they said to his servant, Shuhu Aguf, what's the goof? We had this before in the previous story, which is his body. So this is the vessel, our body represents the vessel that holds our godly soul. Maybe you can investigate into him and find out what's going on. So he said that he knows. Because he was with them. When he went to the yeshiva or the seminary, wherever he was, where he met this young girl, and then he got so excited about her. He was there. So he said to them what actually is bothering this young man. Remember that they made they became engaged. Really, they became wed together by this ring, which is circular and square. So the Yichud Elyon. So this is a secret. It's a secret to the upper Yichud, the Yichud in Ruchnius that exists inside of all of us as well. So he says, Vazai Nizkar HaMelech. Now the king, that is the father of this young man, said he already made a deal. They already made a deal. So we said the Keser what? Represents the 370 lights coming off of the face of Eric Anpin. And the Malchus, which is to receive them, they already made this deal in the higher realm. So the higher realm, and now we have the children who are in the lower realm. Let's see how they can come together. So he says, so he remembers that. Shazeh, so the Batisha. So what is this? There's such a thing called the Batisha. Now, those in the Sod class are going to come into this a little bit fairly soon. When we get into Shar Akudim, it may be in Shar Tanta, I'm not sure. We're striking, that opposites striking each other. So remember we had in the first Shar, we started about Shar Gulim, that over there we were talking about you have a line, you have a ball. Let's say you had a ball, you had a line. Which one came first? Mature. So the line generates the ball. But as the line moves, then more balls come. So they're working together, and they don't really fit together, but they strike each other. So he says, "Shazeso the betisha shohoyakodem abriya be'ez kibur ubinyan seder olamos." So betisha is the striking of the worlds in different kinds of ways, of striking the spheros in different kinds of ways, is creating a third party. If you think about that in terms of human reproduction, there's something about that as well. V'halach v'kased l'hakeses, so he went and he wrote a letter to the emperor. Again, he communicated with this malchus, communicated from the bottom up to the top, which is the face of Eric Anpin, sheyachin atzmo lalachasana. They should make a wedding for the lower worlds and put everything in order so that the shefa, the blessing of Hashem, should be able to flow down below. Because they were already, they made a pact already. Below Ratza Keser, but the Keser didn't like this idea. He didn't want to do it. Why? So what's the reason why the Keser wouldn't want this? So he says that the reason for this is because there are a lot of switches that go on in the world. He calls it the Heichel of Kutamuros. Because just that there should be an easy path is not what the Almighty wants. First of all, the concept of Batisha, which is striking, means there's dissonance. So that dissonance actually is a creative property. It's a property of dinim. So he says, here's a quote from the Bereshis Rabbah, so Hashem created worlds and he destroyed them. Ad Shabara Es Elu, until he came to the world that we talk about now, with the world that we live in, is called the Olam Atikun. Amaden Hanyanli, so he says this, I think I like this, would have benefited to me. Yaskul Lo Hanyanli, so those, they don't work. So this really refers to the Shvira, which takes place in the Shar Shvira later on, that for those in the Sod class will see some of that. But he wasn't, even though that the Eric Anpin, that is these lights, they didn't really think it was time to make this ultimate connection, because the world is full of changes and the changes have to go on, because the changes have to do with generating from the bottom to the top the desire to try to make, this desire of trying to get things together is the most important driving element that we have. Because the reason why the emperor, again, which is these 370 lights, didn't want to immediately put the children together so that you could have an ultimate yichud, that is a zivug, a match of all the worlds, is because everything has to go according to the timing of the Eibishter. It's to get down lower, because what they're talking about here is a very, very high world. Who's going to receive it down below where we are? The Heshivlo, so he answered them, Sheyishlach Hamela Beno Alav, that he should send his child to him. Yuraim Yuchalin Hog Medinos, and see whether or not he can run the show, so he can manage different countries. Azah Yasi Bito Alav, then he would marry his daughter off to him. So here we see that these lights are really pushing away and pushing, not, they're saying, I don't want to give myself, I don't want to bring my lights down to this malchus so that we could have an ability to be able to generate children. We'll generate children. We're not ready for that. But so now here's a little secret that Rav Shik says. What's the reason why? Because the Eibishter created a world that has a Yetzer Hara in it. He created the world for our benefit, that things don't work in a straight line. Remember, the line has to meet the circle. So problems on the way, along the way. There's all different kinds of problems, and the overcoming of those problems, the need to continue to try to purify yourself, is all that's going on. And here's his words. In the end, what Eric Anpin is saying is that he has to be able to create a situation, and these words, is that when things aren't going right, and the exact translation, how to fortify yourself at a time when there's darkness and falling. In other words, you're failing. Because our neshamas, which come from olam, where? They come from tremendously high place. They're chelik of elokus ma'al. But we're here in this world, in this hard world. And somehow we have to understand that the pattern is constantly overcoming the obstacles that are in our way to try to continue to reach higher and higher, closer to Hashem, and that's the purpose. So he says, we're nimsa b'olam ha'asiyah ha'gashmi v'ha'chamri hazeh, this physical, really difficult, deep, dense world. So he sent his son to him, but now the son, that is the Malchus that we said before, is making a aliyah to the face of Eric Anpin. So that is the king sent his son to the Keser, just in the same terms that the Keser had said. So then the Keser took him and isolated him. He put him in a certain room, Mazalo Niaros, and he gave him a bunch of different kinds of papers, Shal Iska Medina, that is how things work. Now what does this mean? I don't know, as Kabbalists. The Rosim Yuchel Linhog is a Medina to see whether or not he can manage himself. So he says, this is the secret. This is the secret of the Torah in Olam Atzilus. We see how this flows. Kamaim Ramzal, the rabbis say in Bereshis Rabbah, Shisha Devarim Kadma the Brias Ha'olam, there were 6 things that came before the creation of the world. Torah Minayim, where do we know that Torah came from? Shenema Havaya Kanani Reishis Darko, that he established me, Kanani, he established me, Lakan is like a lotion of the nest. He prepared me in the very beginning of his path. Because he says like this, what's Torah? Torah, why should Torah be the very first thing that you have in the path? Why is it necessary for the Malchus to be so completely inundated with the Torah of Atzilus? Because in this physical world, there are all different kinds of lies, all different kinds of illusions and hidden things that are around us. The only way you can make it into this world is by learning Torah. Because the Torah tells you how it is and what you need to know in order to cling yourself to the source of all light, the Chaya Chayim, the life of lives, Bo Yisbarach, with him may he be blessed. And how to get back to him, because we keep falling off, because we're in a place where it's not a straight line, right? It says, and how do you do that? What's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to make from Asiya Atzilus. What does that mean? It means to lift up yourself in such a way that you're actually be able to kabel the face of Eric Anpin, which is these 370 lights. And as a result of the fact that you are a physical human being, meaning that you are from the Olam Asiyah, then you will have the lights of Eric Anpin shining on you, into you, and through you. And that's the same thing as saying that the etzem, the very essence of the light of Atzilus, will be coming down into Asiyah, where we live. Thank you.